What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so today's video, we're going to be talking about 3 Jokers by Geoff Johns and Jason Fabok. And in this video, we're going to learn a little bit more about the designation of the 3 Jokers, and more importantly, about what might be one of Joker's most nefarious schemes that he's playing against Batman that ties directly into his origin. We're gonna talk about all that and more right now. But first, wash your damn hands and let's hit that intro.
Word to wise, grass only greener when it's fertilized. Gave them truth in these songs, they prefer to lies. Destiny beautiful, adrift in her purple lies. You can't see me, you Stevie, wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
Before we get started, if you want to see more awesome comic book videos like this one, it only takes 2 clicks to become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers. Click.
When last we left off, the Death in the Family Joker had already been killed off by Jason Todd. The one that is designated as the Clown, that leaves us with the Killing Joker, referred to in this comic as the Comedian, and of course, the Golden Age Joker, heretofore referred to as the Criminal. These particular ones specifically are kind of almost the antithesis of each other, even though they are the 2 who look the most similar to one another. The first thing you'll probably notice about them is that whereas the Comedian Joker, he is more inclined to tell jokes that are incredibly unfunny, and in a lot of cases, even by dad joke standards, are bad jokes. They're usually more on the macabre side of things, and with this particular Joker, yeah, he's more inclined to laugh a lot, whereas the Golden Age Joker, the Criminal, he does not laugh all that often. And we're gonna actually touch on that in a little bit, but I don't want to bury the lead on this one. But basically what you need to know is that before we talk about the whole Joker laugh thing, the thing I find very interesting about this is that when Jason Todd tracks down where these 2 Jokers may be hiding out, or at least one of their hideouts, what they actually find is essentially a pool full of failed Joker experiments. Like, you can literally see all these dumpsters, these barrels of a Joker toxin. Most likely Joker toxin was poured in this pool, and all of these naked Joker bodies just laying in there. I don't know, it's crazy. Apparently, but whatever was going on, it happened a while ago. Before he can actually do anything about those bodies that are in the pool, he's already been grabbed and snatched up by both of the Jokers, and they strip him down, and they basically revisit Death in the Family with him. And all this is kind of commentary on Jason Todd as a whole. This whole entire storyline hinges on Jason Todd, because what they ultimately want is, they do confirm they want him to be the next Joker. That is what this is all about. That is what the Criminal is trying to do. He explains that he is, in fact, yeah, we know he's the Golden Age Joker, but yeah, he is in fact the original recipe Joker. He is the one who kicked off all of this. He believes that the Batman deserves a better Joker. Almost kind of a throwback to The Dark Knight, where Joker talked about how this city needs a better class of criminal. That's kind of what he's going at here. It's kind of a nod to that. But what's happening here is that, yeah, he thinks that the Batman needs something better. He needs a Joker that is a cut above all the rest of them, and they honestly believed that Jason Todd would be the one. I mean, think about it. He's perfect. He literally went to the brink, was pushed to the absolute edge, and somehow he survived it. Not only that, Joker knows that he blames Batman for everything that happened to him in the Death in the Family arc. He knows that he hates Batman, that he hates him more than anybody else. But the problem the Criminal has with Jason Todd is that he feels that he's not on the level intellectually to match wits with Bruce Wayne. He doesn't think he's smart enough to do it. And of course, he throws in the line, "Does it hurt when you laugh?" Now, this is actually, in reference to something that he told him just a few pages back. When they first come face to face with one another, he starts laughing. Like, unlike with the other Jokers, it's an involuntary laugh. Like, unlike with the Comedian and the Clown, those Jokers tended to laugh a little more freely. This Joker, the Golden Age Joker, he just laughs involuntarily. And this is also, I guess, kind of in reference to and maybe this is something something that I may have missed from way back, but this kind of reminds me of the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. Like this is like an involuntary thing, but for him, when he does this, it absolutely positively hurts him. It's painful for him to laugh. He can't take it. And when he does it, like the smile that cracks up across his face, it's almost as though, you know, the Joker toxin, what it's doing to him, it's the same thing that happens to other people who are infected by it, only it's not necessarily killing him, it just hurts him really badly. But yeah, once again, they're actually disappointed that he is not going to be the next Joker because they felt that it was perfect, that he was a Red Hood first, just like he did. It made so much sense. And of course, the comedian, he actually does hope that Jason Todd survives all this because they do want him to prove them wrong. At least the comedian is. He says he's still rooting for Jason Todd to survive all this and become a Joker. In the wake of the clown's death, and Barbara Gordon, she rushes off to try and track down Bruce and get him to understand that Jason Todd is lost. And this brings up some interesting commentary about how Jason Todd has been handled over the years. The fact that, you know, Barbara is calling out Batman for not taking him under his wing even sooner, doing more with him, trying to train him up, trying to rehabilitate him, get him to not be a stone cold killer, keep him from using guns, keep him from using extreme measures. And Batman kind of recognizes that, yeah, he failed him. He failed Jason Todd in ways that I don't think he's ever failed any other Robin. That said, this isn't a surprise. This isn't news to anybody. The death of Jason Todd has haunted Batman, but I think it's a commentary on the fact that when Jason Todd came back, Batman didn't do a whole heap of a lot about it. I mean, yeah, he was grateful that, you know, Jason Todd was alive and well again, but at the same time, did he go out of his way to make sure that Jason Todd was okay? Now, Batman and Batgirl do track down the Red Hood, and of course, when they get there, that massive pile of bodies, of Jokerized bodies that were in that pool, well, just so happens they weren't dead. They're actually awake, and it turns into this Dawn of the Dead situation where, you know, these guys, they're not necessarily dead, but yeah, it's like they're Jokerized and they're clearly crazy. They just look insane. They look insane. Imagine a zombie apocalypse where everyone, instead of being zombies, they were just Jokers. Imagine that. That would be terrifying, to say the least. And of course, it doesn't even take much to get rid of them. They're clearly not much of a threat because one of them manages to rip off Batman's utility belt and accidentally pushes the button that recalls the Batmobile to Batman's location and pretty much kills most all of them, I'd imagine. They all get run over by the Batmobile, and now they're free to try and figure out where Jason Todd is, which, for anybody who says Batman doesn't kill people, they look pretty dead to me. You could make the argument that they're not all there, but yeah, no, they're dead. But when they find Jason, he has been beaten half to death. He's not okay. He's not okay, and that's something that kind of is a running theme here. And of course, Barbara Gordon, she takes him in and lets him stay at her apartment and all that good stuff. And of course, Batgirl and Batman are still going back and forth about what should or should not be done with Jason Todd. Of course, that is still a thing. But Jason Todd, he recognizes something about Barbara Gordon. He recognizes that she still keeps all of the books and the keepsakes and the calendars from when she was originally shot by the comedian. It's all still there, and she uses that stuff to help her get past the pain. Something that Jason Todd has never actually thought about doing. And not only that, Barbara tells him that the reason why that they moved on from Jason and why it probably seemed like nobody cared about him is because they thought he was dead. He was gone. And by the time they realized that he was back, he had changed into this whole other person. All that they wished is that they had just been there for him, from the jump. And this is something that Jason Todd admits, that no one has ever said that to him, that he didn't know anyone really felt that way. And of course, this leads into Jason and Barbara sharing a kiss with one another, one which is quickly recoiled from, and Barbara is just kind of like, oh, no, we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have done that. That should not have been a thing. And of course, it gets really awkward between them. And it's even more messed up when you think about the fact that, Jason is such a broken individual. Any sense of affection because he really hasn't gotten the attention and affection that he's always craved since he came back, at least not from the people who he felt he was closest to, or he felt should have been giving him that affection, and now he's getting it and he doesn't know how to respond to it, to the point that when he gets it and it's suddenly taken away, you can tell it breaks his heart because it's confusing to him. It's one of those situations where, yeah, if you are a person who is been broken, battered, mentally and emotionally tortured and abused, and at the first sign of any kind of affection, you're probably going to try and latch onto it to hold on to that. And Barbara offered him that. And even though technically she feels it was a mistake to kiss him, and she probably is correct, it was a mistake, because regardless of how she feels, Jason's not in the right state of mind to be going down that route, and he shouldn't have a crutch. It's one of those situations. I know there are gonna be some people who probably just don't understand how emotions and relationships work. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I know there's some people who are gonna be like, oh, Barbara Gordon's a piece of shit, she kissed him and then she pulled back and now she's broken his heart. And there's gonna be other people saying, oh, Jason's too thirsty, oh my God. Y'all just have to kind of sit back, put yourselves in their position. These are fictional characters who are experiencing actual, real human emotions. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, put yourself in their position. I guarantee you, if someone had beat the brakes off you with a crowbar, blown you up, left you for dead, and your entire, what is ostensibly your only family thought you were dead for decades, and then suddenly you come back and you're this broken being and you become this different version of yourself, and now you feel disassociated from everybody, do you really think that you're in a healthy mind state to be engaging in some kind of actual relationship? And more importantly, do you even think for 5 seconds that you should even engage with someone like that in some kind of relationship? It's actually not healthy and it is highly advised against. Yes, human emotions and relationships are very important to rebuilding and bouncing back from psychological trauma, but anchoring your mental well-being, your emotional well-being on a kiss, on a relationship, you can't hinge your emotional and psychological well-being on that. It's not healthy, and any psychiatrist or psychologist would tell you that. But anyways, it's messed up, but I totally get it. It's one of those that I hate it for both sides in this one, because I feel like Barbara actually does like Jason Todd, I think she actually does have an interest in him. I think she does legitimately want to be with him, and I feel like Jason legitimately wants to be with her too, but they're just both not in the correct place right now. Neither one of them to really be engaging in something like that, and it would be unhealthy. Like, their lifestyle is already unhealthy. This would just compound the problem. But anyways, all of that aside, right now they have bigger fish to fry than just Jason Todd, because once again, there are still 2 Jokers running around, and those Jokers are actively trying to make more Jokers. One of them being a former judge, a judge who, by Batman's account, was dirty and literally was the reason why Arkham was such a revolving door throughout the years, kind of going back and explaining why the Joker, Mr. Freeze, Two-Face, Clayface, Poison Ivy, and all these other random and sundry Batman characters, why they were always so able to quickly get in and out of the justice system, whether they broke out or were just simply released. He is the reason why, and the Joker took him out. But at the end of it all, the prints at the scene of the crime point to one name and one name only. And that's Joe Chill. If that name rings a bell, if you're a Batman fan, and that name doesn't ring a bell if you have no idea how, but for those who are the uninitiated, just in case, because you never know, it's always somebody's first time getting into something. If you're not familiar with the name of Joe Chill is the name of the man, the criminal, who killed Batman's parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne, right in front of him when he was a little boy. But here's the rub. Joe Chill's fingerprints are all over the scene of the crime. However, Joe Chill has been tightly locked away in Arkham this whole time. As Batman walks the halls of Arkham Asylum to get to Joe Chill's cell, as he passes the likes of Rupert Thorne and Dr. Phosphorus, you're just some random and sundry, like, deep cut Batman characters just being thrown out there, just for whoever cares to, want to, pick those out. When he approaches Joe Chill's cell, Joe Chill isn't in it, because Joe Chill has stage 4 cancer. He has literally been tied down to a hospital bed and getting chemotherapy treatments. He could not have possibly committed this crime if he wanted to. Now, clearly, this is a setup. It's so obvious. It's a setup of the highest freaking order. Batman knows something's up, and he's going through all the files. He's going through everything to try and figure out what he can about these three Jokers to see if he can tie this somehow all together. And right now, the only thing that he can kind of pinpoint is something that may or may not be going on in Alaska. Maybe. But while he's trying to figure it all out, the comedian has busted Joe Chill out of his hospital bed. Now, why is he doing this? Why has he kidnapped him? Why does he have a video camera? Well, the answers are very simple. He wants Joe Chill to admit to something. He wants him to confess to his greatest crime of all time. He wants him to confess to why he actually killed Thomas and Martha Wayne. He wants to know the real reason. Why? Implying that there's something deeper going on there. Now, I also do think that there is a slight possibility that they are going to put the Joker toxin on Joe Chill, and he will very likely wind up facing the same fate that the three victims at Arkham we saw in the first issue, as well as Judge Walls. I think he's gonna wind up facing the same fate as them. And who knows? It might actually cure his cancer, and it might actually work. I kind of like where they're going, with this. I mean, I don't really understand the whole point of the whole Joe Chill thing, but once again, this is about trauma and how each of these Jokers have affected these specific members of the Bat family. Of course, with the Clown, how he affected Jason Todd by beating him to death and leaving him for dead, and ultimately traumatizing him for the rest of his natural born life. Comedian Joker, who traumatized, paralyzed, and traumatized Barbara Gordon. And then, of course, this Joker, in some way, how he somehow affected this Batman. We're gonna learn about it. I don't know, maybe there is some deeper connection. I will say there was something I found very interesting. When you go back to Joe Chill's cell, there were those pictures on the wall, and one of them did kind of eerily look like the woman that we saw when the comedian was having his delusions about having, dinner with his family or whatever. But I don't know, maybe it was just artistic license and just kind of a coincidence. I don't know. I'm not saying there's a connection. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But I do feel like maybe there is a connection between Joe Chill and the Jokers, in this particular instance, because there are some nods, especially if you look at the criminal Joker. There are actually some nods to the Batman 1989 version of Joker that Jack Nicholson played. So there are a lot of nods in here. There's like lots of little subtle little Easter eggs if you know where to find them. But that said, I don't want to pontificate on that any more than I absolutely positively have to. I think we're just gonna have to wait and see how that one plays out. But in regards to Jason Todd, I'm very interested to see if anything more happens between him and Barbara Gordon. I think the relationship that that kind of was teased or hinted at, or the mistaken kiss that they had, whatever, because I kind of feel like Barbara leaned into that one. I don't know. I was very interested in the whole there's an army of Jokers. I'm glad they didn't lean too far into that one, because I feel like that one would have kind of pushed this book a little bit past ridiculousness for me. But I do like the idea that they're trying to create more Jokers, and every time they make one, it's such a harrowing process that it kills most of them, and the ones that survive it, that don't fully become Joker, just become maniacs. And just seeing that Joker zombie apocalypse thing going on there was pretty cool to see, even though it was very short-lived. But I'm glad it was. I think if it would have gone maybe a panel or two, or maybe a page or two longer, I think it would have been way over the edge. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you all think about it. Wash your damn hands and sound off in the comments. So hey, you made it to the end of the video. Awesome for you. If you enjoyed this video, and if you made it this far, I don't see how you didn't, do me a favor. Hulk smash that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers, and tap that bell so you know when I post up. Also, feel free to go check out my Patreon, where if you chuck in $1, you can get early access to most of my videos up to a week early. And if you have time, make sure you swing by nerd901.com, where you can find more of my content as well as other amazing stuff. Anyways, until next time, I love you 3000 plus ultra.